It hasn't been officially confirmed, but we all hope and think the Virtual Console is coming in a big way onto Switch and bringing with it another era of Nintendo nostalgia, that being the GameCube era. So today, we here at SwitchForce are giving you our top 5 wanted GameCube Virtual Console games. I've got myself and Gabe with 2 separate lists. We'll see how they match up. Starting things with number 5. Gabe, where does your list begin?
My list, unlike your list, has a variety of games. So
hey,
I'm gonna get
no spoilers.
I'm gonna get this one like a big game out of here. Mario Kart Double Dash, fantastic Mario Kart game. Everybody has very fond memories of it. I think that'd be really fun to even like just play local multiplayer with. I know that online probably isn't a thing, but just like being able to play local multiplayer with a few friends would be really cool. You have played local multiplayer split screen on that screen, and you said that it worked wonderful and that the size really wasn't an issue at all. So Mario Kart Double Dash is one I would like really would love to have. I think it's right up there with the ones that are like kind of confirmed. Like they said that Sunshine is coming, and
yeah, the rumor is Sunshine and Luigi's Mansion and what, Melee maybe?
Yeah.
That's the thought. Yeah, I mean, Double Dash also, the fact that you can co-op it on a single screen without doing any sort of split works just as coolly for tabletop mode. But yeah, I mean, with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe coming so soon, I don't know if I'd put that on my list, but I think it's definitely a very memorable
That's why
title.
It's number 5.
Gotcha, okay. My number 5 is a game that brought me many nights of joy, and that's SSX Tricky. This was my birthday party bonanza game. We stayed up almost all night playing SSX Tricky, going for high scores, and I think it's just a phenomenally fun game. I don't think SSX as a franchise ever reached that pinnacle again, and in fact probably went downhill, and I don't like the modern iterations.
It went down the slopes.
Unintentional puns, and I don't think modern games like Steep come anywhere close to the fun that something like Tricky had. So I think it would be a great game again with local multiplayer or just trick runs. Really thinking of how you could take advantage of the Switch features. I think it would be like the ideal fit. And my character was always Elise, and I always just dominated. And I loved how you'd build up the Tricky meter, and you could do it like 7 times in one match because that's how insane the game was. So, or in one race, I guess. But yeah, that's my number 5.
Okay, so that brings us to number 4. And again, I'm getting the more popular titles on my list out of the way now. Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures. A game that I never finished, even though I love Zelda so much. Like, it was a game that was meant to be played in co-op, and I didn't have like too many friends that had it. So, I did my best.
Plus, you need all the GameCube or the Game Boy Advance connector cables.
Yeah, it was definitely an ordeal to set up. But the game's fun. And you have never ever played it, so
I actually have played it.
Wait,
like barely, like the first level.
Okay,
and it's actually cool. I like the concept. I like that you transition between
so
the
me,
GBA
you, Jake,
screen.
and Becca could play through it.
Yeah, it would be very interesting. I don't know how they would simulate. You could, instead of seeing Link on the Game Boy Advance screen, you just feel him in the Joy-Con, the haptic rumble. You feel him moving around.
Yes. Yeah, I know it's a tough translation, but it's a game that I've always wanted to go back and finish. That I probably never will, but I think it still deserved a spot on the list.
Absolutely. My number 4 does bring things back into the Nintendo fold, and I'm just going to say Mario Party 4 through 6. I mean, any of those would be fine, but I loved me some Mario Party back in the day. The newer iterations, I think, are boring, and they've lost sort of the competitive lust that the initial entries had. But this is like the perfect tabletop Joy-Con game, right? Like, 4 people all gathered around playing Mario Party. Like, that is how I want to spend my nights when we're lost in a barn in the middle of nowhere.
Yes. Well, hopefully we have like chargers on us, but
but with our chargers and our warm milk and a few cows for extra protection, it's not 1-2 Switch we'll be playing.
No,
it's Mario Party.
Yeah, Mario Party like used to be really fun. Like I remember having a blast with like my cousins back in the day. Like you said, the newer ones I don't think that many people like, and I don't think that they're very fun.
The newest 3DS one actually is pretty cool. The way that they've abbreviated the board game mode into like this mini game coin rush is a pretty cool, like short, like very condensed version of Mario Party. But Yeah, the 1 through 6 or 1 through 7, whatever it is, that really captured that board game essence with stealing stars and like the cool mini games, like the drill one and the one where you're making the crazy faces, all that stuff. Like, I want those, and I think again the Switch is a perfect home for them because of that ability to do local multiplayer in a variety of ways.
All right, so that brings us to number 3, Zachary. And my number 3 is Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, a game that I don't think got enough credit. I remember it being like super fun, and like, yes, the art style is like a little like weird, and I get it, like it's not a mainline Final Fantasy game, so people aren't as interested in it, but like for some reason I really dug it. I remember all the races. I don't remember them all, but I remember like the Clavets were in there, and there was one that had a Y. I don't know, but the combat was cool, the dungeons were cool. And another game, and to me this is important in my list. It's games that I've never finished that I would like to go back and play.
Sure.
That's what I base my list off of. So, did you ever play it at all?
I remember being excited for the release. I remember reading about it in Nintendo Power and renting it the first week at Blockbuster, but I never really got too into it. I think it was more of at that time, my patience level was more for, faster paced action game. And I know this is a more action focused Final Fantasy, but just in terms of like, I didn't have the longevity for that sort of an experience.
And I don't know if you remember, but it had like cooperative play, so like,
yeah,
that was something the GameCube was like really kind of pushing back then with the Zelda game I mentioned in this.
Yeah, so I think that'd be a good fit. My number 3 is Super Mario Sunshine, which I know is an obvious one, but I never finished that, so I would be super excited to get back in. And initially I wasn't like very interested in the idea of Mario Sunshine, but now that we're not getting Odyssey until holiday, I think this would be a great way to put a premier Mario title on the platform, and it's gonna still look pretty darn good. Taking that on the go with you will still be super fun, and it's a challenging Mario game, and it's the most recent in the lineage that Miyamoto and the team is following with Odyssey in terms of a more core sandbox experience Mario title. So I think it's an ideal fit to play in preface to Super Mario Odyssey. And like, it's just got a very fun vibe, a very fun theme, some very challenging shine sprites to collect. And again, that's a game that, like, sort of how the 3DS launched, or the DS launched? The DS launched with Mario 64 DS, sorry. Yeah. With that horrid gray clamshell chunker.
It's a great console.
But yeah, eventually the form factors needed a few iterations to really find itself. But yeah, I think it's an ideal title to want to take with you, and something that formerly is just impossible.
The thing about Sunshine is I think it's big enough to warrant like a full-on like HD remaster. Like, that's the only problem I have with like having it out on Virtual Console. Like,
sure,
I feel like at some point we get an HD remaster. Like, we got Wind Waker, we got Ocarina of Time on the 3DS or whatever. But I think that's one that we might fully get remade. But
now, did Twilight Princess?
What about it?
Because I guess I was gonna say, did Twilight Princess wasn't on Virtual Console, but was it downloadable on the Wii U as a Wii game?
I don't know.
Before the HD?
I have no idea, but I played through the HD like remake like on streams, and it was really fun.
Okay.
But I do think that Sunshine is on that level where, like, it's,
for sure,
it's big enough and
I was just wondering if both of them are possible in any way. Like, is it possible to have it come out on Virtual Console?
I don't know. Maybe I'm remembering Wind Waker being downloadable, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
I don't think Wind Waker was ever downloadable for Wii U. For Wii U, no. What I'm saying is, was Zelda? Maybe I just played it via the backwards compatibility, but
yeah, who knows?
Because I know that they released some Wii games for Wii U, like downloadable Mario Galaxy and a few things like that. Anyhow, all right, on to number 2. For you.
No, what was your number 3?
Mario Sunshine.
Okay, so now, my turn. I got lost there a little bit, confused me, to be honest.
I lathered you up with all of that sunshine and all of that water. You just got whisked away.
So recently I made a video about like long dormant franchises that we haven't had entries in for quite some time, and FZero was one of them. And the GameCube had one of the latest FZero games, FZero GX. And I said even in that video, I don't know if FZero even has a place anymore now that Mario Kart has like taken over like the racing mantle, I guess, over there at Nintendo. But they're completely different games. F-Zero is just much more speed-based instead of what Mario Kart is, which is just more arcadey action. Not that F-Zero isn't arcadey, but I think this would be a good gauge to whether people want a future F-Zero game at all, because F-Zero GX, I remember it doing well. I think people liked it, so maybe if people support it on Virtual Console, it will give Nintendo the motivation it needs to go ahead and bring the series back.
Absolutely. I definitely think there's space for another racer from Nintendo. I mean, since we're getting Mario Kart 8 Deluxe early in the Switch lifecycle, the thought would be we're not going to get 9 for a couple of years, so why not slot something like F-Zero in the meantime? That franchise Mario Kart does so well for Nintendo. Why not try and double it up and sell that same audience something just as cool, just as fun? And I think it would be great to, at the very least, have it on Virtual Console so you could race in hyperspeed.
Yes.
With Falcon and his friends.
And fantastic music.
Yes. My number 2 is Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. Back when Paper Mario was all about turn-based battles and not cards or whatever other craziness. I mean, Color Splash is a cool-looking game. It has some good ideas, but it does not have the sort of hardcore appeal that Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door, Super Mario RPG had. And I never played Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I've wanted to play it numerous times. There's no way to play it unless you're going to, pull out your GameCube or get an emulator on PC or Mac. But I think this would be a great game to take on the go. I think it would be fantastically fun to have, and it would fill sort of a long, I guess Zelda does as well, but it would give another sort of long-term massive game for you to really get lost in, and would be an ideal choice for the Switch dual function of playing it at home, taking it on the go, playing it at home, taking it on the go. It's got really colorful characters. That art style, I think, translates better to the modern time than something like, I don't know, Rogue Squadron or Resident Evil with more realistic graphics. The cel-shaded nature of Paper Mario still looks really good, and from what I've heard, it's like a phenomenal game that I have just never had the privilege to play. So I would love to have that chance, and I think it would be one that would have enough appeal, regardless if it's VC or not. Like, you could sell that for $20-$30 as just a game, and I think people would buy it.
Okay, so that brings us to number 1, doesn't it, Zachary?
It brings us to the very top, and I know what yours is.
Okay, so,
Ty the Tasmanian Tiger.
Yep. No, but, there was a rumor about Beyond Good and Evil 2 being a Switch exclusive for a year. And, whether that's true or not, I'm leaning towards that's not true at all, really. But whether it is or not, I never played the original all that much. I played it at a friend's house for, a little bit, but it was, a random, section of the game, and it wasn't a good experience. But I know how revered and loved Beyond Good and Evil is to an extent, because it didn't sell well, so I don't know what people's infatuation with the series with that one game is, but it's just one of those games that holds a good mindshare for people that I've never ever really played. So putting it on Virtual Console, I think would be a great move, especially because it's Ubisoft. Ubisoft has a good relationship with Nintendo for the most part, so I think I could see it happening, especially if this Beyond Good and Evil thing is true, which again, I'm leaning towards it not being true, but who knows.
Yeah, I mean, that rumor has been there for a while. Supposedly now it got shifted to E3. The leakers are still holding true, but we saw how a lot of their stuff didn't pan out. So yeah, I think putting it on Virtual Console would be great. It did get that HD, I don't know if you call it a full remaster, but HD version on Xbox
true.
Live. So maybe they could just port that version over.
Yeah.
It's a game that I have, like you, played a bit of, was not really seeing the reason for its love, but given another chance, maybe, who knows? It could be something super cool.
Yeah.
My number 1, Gabe. You want to take a guess?
Don't I already know it?
Yes. Okay. My number 1 is Super Mario Strikers, the soccer Mario Kingdom Mushroom That's a whole bunch of words. It's the game where Mario and his friends play soccer and use power-ups to crush each other, and it is insanely cool. Both Mario Strikers and Mario Strikers Charged on the Wii are phenomenal games. I think they are probably my favorite Mario sports games of all time. It had a really interesting, edgy feel for the characters and the environments, which is something that Mario as a franchise never dipped its toes into, which by itself makes it interesting. But the gameplay is super compelling. Choosing your teams and picking like a boss character as well as then minions to be sort of the rest of your squad, where you're going to place them, defense, offense. Really cool, different attributes. You get power-ups as you go. Your star, your boss character, your captain has his own or her own unique power-up. It's a really fun game. It's fast-paced, and it doesn't have the waggle of the Wii version, which some people would argue sort of dumbed that one down. There was this crazy goal mode where you could basically score like 5 times in a row. Mario Strikers, the original, though, was more tried and true to the sport, and I think that is another game that would be phenomenal at, or on that tabletop mode if you see the pattern here, especially because it doesn't require a split screen while still being multiplayer. So, I think that's an ideal fit, and I cannot, that would be like the equivalent of like a Rocket League or a Towerfall, where I know you and me and Jake would just sit there and play like back and forth battle, because it really has that much appeal and that much fun. And like of all these games, like that is the one that I'm pulling for by far the most, so it wholeheartedly earns its #1 spot.
And just like in Rocket League and Towerfall, I would just destroy you and you'd be angry, but it's okay.
Probably not. Towerfall, we're pretty even.
Hey, tell that to the hat trick I got on you the last time we played, but okay.
Tell that to how many times I beat you when you were here in my home.
That was because of Trevor. Whatever. All right. We're off topic.
So those are our lists. Just to run it down real quick, Gabe, give us 5 through 1.
All right. So mine were, again, I deleted what the actual order was, but I know I picked Final Fantasy.
Okay, number 5 was Mario Kart Double Dash.
Yes.
Number 4 was Zelda. 5 was Zelda, 4 was Zelda, 4 Swords.
Yes. Then it was Final Fantasy.
Yes.
I'm sorry that I forgot these. Then it was FZero, and then it was Beyond Good and Evil, right?
There you go.
Beautiful.
And then for me, it was SSX Tricky, Mario Party, Paper.
Look at this!
SSX Tricky, Mario Party, Mario Sunshine, Paper Mario 1000 Year Door, and Super Mario Strikers.
It's hard for Zach to say Mario so often. He went out of his way to pick just Mario-related things. I went out of my way to not pick Mario-related things.
So much Mario in one small spot. Let us know what you think of our list and what you would put on your own. We hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm pumped for GameCube Virtual Console because it's not too soon like Wii or Wii U, and it's not like too overdone like SNES or NES or even N64. It's like that sweet spot of like uncharted territory that is old enough to feel new, but new enough to not be overexposed. So bring on the GCN VC. Nintendo, we want it. And here are the 10 games we hope you bring. Till next time, everyone, let us know yours. Hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video. And until next time, for myself and Gabe, SwitchForce out.